Hey everybody, this is Christian Buckley with ESPC 21 Community Reporters with another 3 questions with one of our speakers, one of our Microsoft speakers, April. Hey, welcome.
Hey, Christian.
Why don't you introduce yourself, who you are, what you do?
Yeah, I'm April Dunnam. I'm a Power Platform Developer Advocate at Microsoft. So I work with our cloud advocacy team. We have all kinds of advocates from Power Platform to M365 and Azure and .NET and all of that. So my focus is on Power Platform and creating content and anything that we can do to upskill people in the Power Platform.
Excellent. Well, I've got 3 questions for you. The first question, what are some of the new things that are coming to the Power Platform that have you excited? I mean, obviously with Build just behind us, immediately behind us, a lot that's been announced. What's interesting to you?
So, one of the things that's really cool is all of the code first developer extensibility stuff that they're looking to bring into the Power Platform, from, the deep integration with DevOps pipelines and helping automate processes there, to the Azure API management, being able to seamlessly integrate that into our Power Apps and Power Automate applications there to connect to external data. That's a really big one, a big focus area. Another one that I'm really excited about is Power FX. Not sure if you've heard a lot of talk about that, but it was kind of announced as being a thing at MBAS at the Business App Summit, and there's some great sessions on it at Build as well. So it's kind of Microsoft's goal of getting a unified programming language for the Power Platform across all the products. Because right now it's kind of disparate how we do different things and expressions and Power Apps versus Power Automates and all the applications. So that's going to be a big push in the Power FX Excel-based programming language that I'm really excited about.
Very cool. Okay, question number 2. With Power Platform's rapid adoption and growth, you see a lot of non-developers that have really embraced the citizen developer movement. And some developers may be thinking, hey, what's happening to my job? If end users are able to go and do this for myself, what's happening to those roles, and specifically around the Power Platform? Are jobs going away?
Yeah, that's a great question. One that I definitely get a lot of feedback I get on this. This to me couldn't be farther from the truth. Many people, when you talk about low code platforms and code first development, traditional development, we think it's an or discussion. Like you either going to do this in low code or in traditional code, but it's really an and discussion when you look at it. So it's really, we're seeing an emergence of what we're calling, you might have heard us talk about here at Microsoft a lot, fusion development teams, which is the combination of the low-code developers building applications and Power Apps or workflows and Power Automate, working together with the traditional developers with the C#.NET and traditional programming language skills to build solutions. So that's really something that's emerging. It's definitely not an or talk here, it's an and we're showing this in our products as well with all the professional developer extensibility points that we offer, from being able to connect to APIs, create custom controls, plugins and dynamics, all these different areas that we have where professional developers or code first developers can come in and easily help take the Power Platform solutions that low code devs are building to the next level.
And another way to think of it too is you think of like the maturity model, approach to things. You may go in and as an organization and may decide, hey, what can we do right now? Like today, what can we go in and do to solve some of these business needs? And then as you test things out, you get more feedback about those initial solutions. It may be that they get more and more complex, and where it may be more of that traditional development solution, a longer term solution in place. So it's not that you have to go and scope it out, a project, then wait weeks for something to come that as part of that longer term strategy, but there are more tools in the tool belt to go and solve problems immediately, and not tap out your developer or your IT organization to go and build those low level things.
Yeah, exactly. Another interesting way to look at it too is it allows code first developers to focus on what they actually want to focus on. Because I come from a development background myself, and I don't know about anyone else out there watching this that also come from a development background, but I found myself having to be the jack of all trades. Maybe I really liked front end development, but I was having to do some back end stuff, or I really liked the back end side of things and APIs, but I had to do the front end stuff. So one of the things that the Power Platform can help with that is you can have a low code developer developer, build a really nice front end in Power Apps, and you can work on the API integration and the back end and the data layer, what you actually want to do.
Let's and you've mentioned a couple times the phrase, the low code developer. Kind of how do you differentiate between like the roles of the handoff? Kind of is there a best practice the way that you recommend to organizations about what is how's that role defined of low code versus I look at it as more high code or traditional developer roles.
Yeah, I mean, so low code developers, they're going to be leveraging, the Power FX language that we just talked about, right? So the formulas and Excel-like expressions within Power Apps, or, maybe creating Power Automate workflows that maybe have some complex expressions. But the minute you go beyond that and you need, custom components in your application, or maybe even you just need help architecting. That's another area where, professional or code first developers can really help, is play that architect role almost. Like if you need to think of it from a holistic standpoint of deploying this from dev, test, and prod, and that whole process, and what's your data layer need to be like, and serving as kind of like the solution architect. That's another role that I think code first developers can really take on in the application lifecycle.
I think that's why you have a lot of traditionally business analysts, systems analysts, people that be more on the business side of things, but able to, again, as we talked about earlier, go in and solve some fundamental needs themselves without tapping into IT or the development team. But also, that's somebody who's going to be plugged in long term and be able to better understand the data, better understand the business system, and be that business contact for the development team to go and build that and architect that long-term solution.
Exactly.
So these are all roles that are not going away, people.
Yep.
They're all still going to be there. Okay, question number 3. With the rise of the citizen developers that we've talked about, a lot of organizations are wondering what they should do in addition around security. So are there specific recommendations or best practices for security when you're talking about the Power Platform and building out a more formal structure around your citizen development platform?
Yeah, great question. And we offer a lot, for the security side of things. Now, one of the things that you'll see, one of the things PowerCat team recently released, Microsoft, was a adoption model for the Power Platform, which is pretty interesting. Shows the different areas and how the Power Platform adoption process goes based off of some of the work that they did with some of the large enterprises adopting the Power Platform. And one of the things that you'll see when early adoption, you have these things in Power Platform called environments, and those are where you can deploy your Power Platform assets in. We have a default environment in the Power Platform, and that one, sometimes when you're first adopting this, is kind of the end all be all. You use and you put everything in that environment. So one of the first things from a security approach that you can take in your adoption model is differentiating and creating separate environments for maybe a traditional application lifecycle approach, like a dev, a test, and a prod environment. And each of those environments can have different security applied to them, like as far as who can access them, and more importantly, who can create applications in them. So you can kind of rearrange your default environment to be a personal productivity environment with certain data loss prevention policies, which is probably the biggest thing that we offer as far as security in the Power Platform, to be able to take and set a policy saying that maybe someone can't connect to Dynamics and SharePoint, for example, in an application the same way that they could connect to Twitter. So that if you don't want someone to tweet out some confidential information, we have ways that we can classify different connectors or even completely block them if we need to, so that we don't have any information being leaked, like personal identifier information, stuff like that. And even one of the newest things that was announced from a security standpoint with the data loss prevention policies is eventually, hopefully here in a few months, we're going to be able to restrict certain actions in a connector. So in that Twitter example, if you do want to completely block Twitter altogether, you want people to be able to read tweets in an application or a flow and do sentiment analysis or whatever. You just don't want people making a tweet. We can go down to that fine grain level and just block the send a tweet action, but allow the read tweet action.
Yeah, that's I think again, wanting to have more granular control of that. But that's also, data and insights that you can learn about how people are using the application. So that's another benefit to all of this, is that you can learn over time what are the behaviors that are happening within the solutions that are being developed, and then go back and review those actions and change policy, and tighten down security if needed based on those patterns.
Yeah, exactly. And we have the Admin Center, the Power Platform Admin Center, that has those kind of high-level analytics. But we also have the Center of Excellence toolkit that you can plug on top of all of that to give you even more detailed, holistic analytics across like all of your environments. What's going on? What connectors are people using? What devices are they connected to when they're using your application? Even there's tools built in there to help you analyze and easily set those data loss prevention policies and everything that you would need from kind of a governance standpoint. That COE toolkit kind of offers all those tools that we need for that.
Well, that's a good segue into kind of the bonus question at the end. I always like to ask this, but people want to find out more about this and the topic. Like, where are you pointing to people towards this day? I mean, I know that there's a lot of just adoption.microsoft.com has fantastic resources, but kind of where is your go-to resource that you point people?
Well, one of the first things when you're looking at setting up Power Platform for your organization is setting up that COE toolkit. And you can get to that at aka.ms/COE toolkit. And there's all kinds of documentation out there walking you through what are the individual components of it and how you set it up, videos and documentation that you can read for that. So that's a resource I point to. Back to our earlier question about, code first development and low code development and working together. A good resources that we just released about a week ago now is the Fusion Development Learning Path on learn.microsoft.com. So if you go to aka.ms/learn/ I think it's Fusion Dev, yeah, then that will take you right there to the learning path. And that walks you through scenarios like how to integrate Azure API management with a Canvas application and things like that, and how you would do those integrations and work together as Fusion development teams.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, April. I expected you to have those AKA resources memorized to be able to generate those quickly. So thank you so much. Thanks a lot for your participation in ESPC 21.
Thanks for having me.